Hello, friends. What's going on? And welcome to episode episode 10 of the YarCrypto late night live show. My name is Groovy, and I have here with me today our friends Sterling. Say hi, Sterling. I think you're muted again, Sterling.
Yo, what's up? How are you?
Yeah. How are you, man?
Good. Nice to be here.
And legal talent as well.
How you
Hey,
guys doing? Welcome, people. How you doing?
hey, man.
So today we have a lot of interesting news and some TA as well to do. And we have a few updates as well on our on-chain analysis that we are doing. So we can start today by taking a look at BTC and what the hell is it's doing.
Mm-hmm.
But we just closed the daily. So earlier today, I had a few things to say on my video about BTC. So what's happening now? I have drawn here our little range that we are trading in between 30 and 40k, um, and the reference points that we are taking right now. I think everyone can agree that the most reliable kind of retracement, Fibonacci retracement that we can make is from this swing high over here to this swing low all the way down here.
I agree with that.
So this covers up our entire range here. And then we have our golden pocket up here where we got rejected from earlier. So this is nice and covered over here. And as you guys can see, we were talking about this earlier today. We we were testing this 38.2 as a support line. Let me actually make it a little more clear for you guys here. The levels, okay. So if you guys look here, the 38.2 at the 33,500 level was held as support on the daily. So right now we are starting the daily candle green. So with this kind of close here, I believe we can potentially come back to the upside and test this 50% line at 35k. And if we break that, potentially testing the 618 level at the 36,000, 36,500, something like that. So yeah, that's basically our situation right now. Something that I was talking about as well is this kind of candlestick pattern that we saw a few days back, which is the three bullish candles here and a bearish engulfing candle right after. This is called the three line strike.
Mm.
Um, Usually we see this in forex, but we can also apply it on stocks and crypto as well. We saw something similar happening, and well, it played out kind of exactly how it played out here. So if we take this principle from this area right here, then we could assume that we're gonna go back up from here as it happened here. Um, yeah, but this is BTC. We also have our little channel that we are following. We can draw it on the 4-hour time frame. So if we draw it like this from here to here, we have our resistance on the top, and then we have our support here on the bottom. Um, yeah, so it depends really on how you actually draw it, but this right now seems like the most reliable way since we are at support on the fib level as well. We could draw it like
Yeah.
this, but nobody wants that. So we're gonna keep it like this. We had
And
kind of
generally,
a
I usually draw from the wicks anyway. Like there's
mhm,
a lot of stipulation to like, oh, do we use the body? Do we use the wick? And what I found is that it depends on your strategy. So if you're going by the wicks, then you're going to make all your decisions based off wicks. If you're going off a body, you'll make your
mhm,
decisions based off of the body. But I think there's a lot of credence to the actual candle wicks because the price does go to those levels, even for a
yeah,
brief moment.
exactly. I think the most confluence here is this way of drawing it. Since we are on a fib level at the daily as well, then we tend to believe that this is confluent support for us, judging by the wicks as well.
Hmm.
So if we go by this channel, we are kind of in the bottom of the channel right now. And if we were to break to the upside, then the most probable target, kind of technical target, would be for us to actually reach the top of the channel, which is kind of in the 39K area. But if we have a breakout from this, then we could even potentially break the whole uh, kind of range that we are at right now. So yeah, obviously that's a little bit more in the future, but we
Hmm.
can look out for that if we break to the upside from this channel. So that's that for BTC.
So right now, the immediate resistance that Bitcoin is testing is roughly still 35K, right?
Exactly, yeah. So since we, at least I like to kind of take things a little slower, we can sort of make this range here our current objective per se. So right now our objective is potentially reaching the 35K, which if we make another retracement here, actually we can see that the 35K is actually our golden pocket. I'll kind of limit that a little bit right here. So our current objective so far is to retake the 35K once again. Ideally, we want a daily close above this level, so we can potentially go back up and then test the 36 again, 36,500, which was our last point of rejection here, and then continue to the upside potentially to the 40K level. But right now, yeah, we gotta be focused on these two ranges right here.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically that's the
So it
most.
seems like
Yeah,
so it seems like the price has reacted to quite a few 618 fib levels in the past
yeah,
5 days or so.
exactly. We see that there's a lot of confluence in these 618 levels that we make, even if the retracement is a little more local, like this one. You see that if I extend these lines to the left here, we saw that this was a level of significance even here. Let me get rid of this. So this was a point of significance. Even if the retracement is not reaching this point here, you see that it's confluent, and then a lot of other points as well. It's like
Yeah.
here, um, even here as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Fibonacci. Yeah,
Yeah, because one of the things to note would be that, although these are fib levels and it's being projected from the tool, overall, these are general psychological numbers that there's credence to. And so
yeah.
there's going to be these, support and resistance levels that go back even, past these charts that we're looking at now, as far back as, January and December and whatnot, which are going to
Mhm.
have some confluence here as well. So that's something to definitely keep in mind because it's not localized to just the one retracement. And that's why
Exactly.
sometimes you can do multiple retracements for different areas to see if there's any, anything's lining up for you there.
One thing I
Yeah,
noticed last night was
like this as well.
um, the price was reacting on that last dip. That last bottom, the price was reacting to the ribbon of the 4-hour Ichimoku cloud. So that's where we're finding support right now since we bounced today or last night.
Yeah, exactly. If I make so there's even another retracement here that's confluent as well from this point, this low here, to this high, and it's always the 618 level mostly that we look at, and look at this, a lot of touches here as well as support. Um, so yeah, it's crazy. It's really nice to use this kind of retracements to see, uh, to have reference points. And if you look here, the each every time you if you made a trade here on this support line, you would have been made a perfect trade basically from these areas. Uh,
Hmm.
this is the good thing actually about trading in a range that like we are now, because we have clear levels. Obviously, we have the bottom and the bottom and the top of the range, and then we have our middle, which is always a place of confluence as well. So yeah, it's very nice so far.
And
But
not to
we want to
mention, it's
see,
giving it a chance to kind of cool down and build up strength so that way we can potentially see higher prices.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, we want to see is are we breaking this range here, but until then, we gotta work with what we have, right? So that's
Yeah.
that. Um, so even on the daily here, we there's another thing that we can sort of look at. I can look at the 4 hour actually. It's we can see it as well. So there's a case for a triangle as well, um, on this area. So if we sort of make a line
Symmetrical
from this
triangle.
point, yeah, exactly. Um, we had the fake out here on this area, and the
Hmm.
bottom trend line would be the same. It would be this one,
Yep.
the same for the channel, right?
Hmm.
And then we have a symmetrical triangle. And the breakout for this, um, technically would be the top of the triangle. Um, so it would be our resist our top resistance here on our range, which is 40K. Um, so yeah, that's another thing that we can potentially look at for the future. Um, but looking at the uh, support and resistance lines like we are doing right now is one thing, but it's nice as well for us to actually combine that with some other stuff, uh, because we want to have the most confluence possible on our indicators, right?
Hmm. Like if I pull up,
Um,
if I show you my chart here that I have on my screen,
yeah.
we have here it's a VPVR, it's the volume profile, but the one I'm using right now it's a fixed range. Right now, this is the daily chart for BTC on Coinbase, and it's a real useful tool because it lets you find the point of control, which is essentially the area where there's the most volume for an asset. So there's two different ways you can get this on your screen. They have one that's an actual indicator, which you can pull up and you just type in VPVR, and it's the visible range. And this one would actually come up on the right here. And let me just get rid of this really quickly for you guys. And depending on the candles that are on your actual chart, it'll give you the actual range of the asset and also give you the point of control, which is the red line, which is indicating where the majority of the price action is, the volume essentially. So if I go ahead and undo this, get my fixed one for you guys. So at the moment, what we're dealing with right now is, we do have the point of control from what I did was use the all-time high as the swing high to the previous, the current candle actually. And right now the point of control is above us. This is a 35.5 thereabouts. Coinbase is something to keep in mind as well because there's different prices depending on the exchange you're on. But that's also a level I'm looking out for too, because if we can kind of get above this point of control, and start, reclaiming this territory up here, then that would be definitely, a more bullish scenario. And
Yeah.
like you said, we do have this triangle. If we can get above it as well, or all these confluent areas are allowing us to essentially track and make better trading decisions overall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so
exactly. Sorry, Sterling, you wanna go say
it was
something?
also it's also with that VP. What do you call that indicator? The
The
VP
VPVR, it's a visible
VPVR.
range. Yeah.
As you can see, like a lot of the price action clusters up into where that VPVR's wave is highest. So those volume candles that you're seeing, the blue and yellow candles, you could see that where it gets higher, you see more sideways price action, and it's showing you that's at the moment the more inherent value of BTC trading in that range.
Hmm.
And if we could break above that, I'd be quite bullish.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Yeah. So another thing that we can look at actually is the RSI on the daily time frame, and if you actually uh, take a look at the how the RSI is doing right now, we sort of were in a kind of downtrend, right? From the all ever since the beginning uh, of the run that we had to 60K, and we are still on that downtrend over here. So we have not been able to put a higher low yet, a higher high yet. Um, so that's also something that we're gonna uh, keep an eye on.
Yeah,
And yeah, so this is BTC right now. We're gonna
Mister.
jump on some
By the
on
way, Groovy,
some. Sorry,
uh,
yeah.
Mister Crypto wants to know if we could talk about ETH. Do we have any charts for ETH?
Oh, Mr. Crypto, hello, man.
Welcome.
Yes, sure. So we are finished, I think, with some TA on BTC right now, and I have something on Ethereum actually here. Um, if I could just open my chart here. Yep. So I have a lot of ranges here for Ethereum. Um, from some retracements as well. But okay, this is the daily for ETH, um, and right now we kind of closed the daily on support as well. So that's something bullish for ETH, similarly to BTC, right? Because it tends to follow a little bit.
Yeah.
So this support that we bounced from, I'm gonna clear up some of this, to be honest. Leave those three. Okay. We had obviously a very confluent area in this area right here, um, like this. So this is a relevant level from here as well. And now we are testing it right here. Um, this little retracement here is from this swing high right here to this kind of swing low right here. So the golden pocket for this retracement is this level that we got rejected from uh, in the last 3 days or so. So this is confluent. We can take notice of that. And this one is from a bigger retracement from this kind of swing high here. Yep. Yeah, exactly. To the same swing low, right? So if we make this retracement, make it again here.
And I actually personally would favor the larger retracement.
Yeah, both are confluent, but we could also um, pay attention to this level here, which is the 2,400, for a possible retest and potentially getting rejected at the first time if we do get up here. But I would say the first one that we have to look is this one that we got rejected from. If I zoom in a little here on the 4 hour, it's very similar to what happened to BTC. Um, we got rejected here, and then tried to break above it and couldn't. Sold off, bounced from the next support line, and now we're potentially coming back into this. Um, so yeah, the two levels that I'm looking at for ETH is 2,300 range, and then next the 2,400, 500.
If I could actually pull up my chart, I have some stuff I've been tracking with ETH as well. There's the
Mhm.
potential of this W formation. Right now, currently, I have the daily chart up, and yeah, it's still in play. We did have this small retracement currently. It seemed like we had a similar situation with the three strike candle pattern, and we saw the retracement afterwards, and currently now the price is still capitulating to the upside seemingly. But right now the target for me is slightly above yours. It would be 25.50 thereabouts, and that would be the target of the actual W pattern if it fully plays out. Overall, that's not a great target because it would put us in a double top situation where we would see a retracement there, but that's something to definitely look out for in the future.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's
very nice.
Yeah, so that covers ETH for now.
yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So
Another chart that I have here, and it's I spotted this today actually. Is BNB, and we know that BNB it tends to do some very textbook patterns, right? Um, like it did in the past on the past like run that it had. And I have this chart here for BNB actually, and we are forming a perfect kind of triangle here, symmetrical triangle. Uh, from this sort of highs here. This is the 4-hour chart, by the way. And we made a higher low inside the pattern here. This is usually a good sign.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, if we actually break out from this pattern in the next couple days, we could see BNB actually making a run, even with the news that we are going to talk in a little bit, to the sort of $370 dollars or something like that. So
Mm.
that would be from this point kind of a 20% move. So that's a lot. Um, so, and BNB likes to do that very much because previously we had a lot of triangles being formed on BNB. If you take a look here, we had this one before a big move. So this was a really textbook triangle as well that we had from this point, and then we got our breakout here, this point here, and then we all saw what happened, and along the way we actually made a lot of consolidation in triangles like this. So yeah, BNB sometimes is really nice to trade, so keep an eye on this triangle here, guys, because we could have a breakout um, today or tomorrow or any point in this week. So yeah, keep an eye on that.
Well, talking about
um,
breakouts, actually, I have a chart here if you don't mind.
by the way,
mhm.
guys, real quick,
Showing. Oh yeah. Oh
we
yeah.
have a comment from Jose
Oh,
Jose
Jose
Santos.
Santos. Okay.
He says, "Hello, guys. I have a question about three-line strike pattern Groovy said earlier on BTC. Since the last day candle doesn't engulf the three previous ones, does that invalidate the pattern?" That's actually a
Since the
very good
last
question.
day candle doesn't go off. All right. So the thing right here, let me actually show you guys.
Great question, by the way.
Yeah, it's a good
Yep.
question.
So if I can just clear my chart here so I can show you here. All right. So it doesn't invalidate the pattern. Sometimes we see that the candle can actually go a little above it, but this doesn't mean that we didn't react to the support that is right here. So basically, what we did right here is kind of bounce from a fib level as well. So it was a support line that we had in both of these kind of moves, right? And here we actually bounced as well from a support, but the pattern doesn't necessarily have to uh, be perfectly closed on the point of the previous one or on the first one. Um, what matters is actually the whole move per se. So usually when we have these three candles here, when the price reaches the third one, it usually is pretty overbought, especially on the lower time frames, and it requires a sell-off for it to reset, right? Um, and if you look at the volume here on this candle, it was a sell-off volume, not really that much for the daily time frame, but yeah, it's kind of a way to retrace after being overbought on the lower time frames. So it never plays out that perfectly, but since we had this week here kind of reacting to the support line, it already validates and we bounced from the support and closed. So since we did that, that's all it really takes for the pattern to be valid. So yeah.
Yeah, and like Guru was pointing out, in a lot of cases with these patterns, you have W formations, head and shoulders, and all these other things. It doesn't necessarily need to fully play out, exact for
Yeah.
it to be valid or invalid. So, like, I have a chart here. If you guys don't mind, we have
Yeah, go for it.
Ada. Ada, I've been kind of watching for a little while as well, and she's been in this triangle since we've been talking about triangles. And currently, it does look like we had a fake out breakout, came back in. We did have some wicks on the support line here, and then previously went back out for another sort of fake out. And it does look like we're at the end of the end of the road here. It does look like we are finding a bounce here, and we are finding support on this top diagonal support line. But what would be the price target here if this is you know a breakout? We're looking at $1.84 for ADA. That'll take us well back into the zone over here, which would be very, very welcomed if you ask me.
Yeah, I would welcome that. Hey, I'm holding a little bit, Ada.
Yeah, and that would put me back in the green on my spot position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
All
this is
right.
something to look out for. It's obviously, especially since it was very choppy here towards the end of it. If you look at the daily, though, it looks a little more clean. We are closing candles above this diagonal support and resistance line. So that's definitely a positive.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think we can move on a little, guys, to a little bit of on-chain analysis
Oh, I've
for
been waiting
now.
for this. I've been waiting.
Um, yeah, so the first thing that I want to update us over here is that our the fuel multiple that we talked about on the last one. For anyone who doesn't know, the fuel multiple talks about supply on the market in relation to miners. So basically, miners they have to sell BTC um, to cover costs such as hardware and other stuff as well. So that obviously creates a kind of supply on the market, and it increases the liquidity on the market. So the red band that we have on at the top here, um, when the levels hit this red band, it usually means that the miners have been putting a lot of coins in the market, so that creates a lot of supply. And if the demand doesn't keep up with this supply, then the price obviously goes down in result of that, right? Um, and it has been true for every time we have hit this kind of red zone here, um, in the past like 4 times, the price always comes down after that. And the opposite is true for the green zone over here, right? So when these levels are on the green zone, it means that basically the miners are not putting that much coins on the market, um, and so the price usually goes up from these moves, right? And this has also been true every time we came back to this line here. So if you see uh, in this point right here, which was all the way back in 2012, the price increased. In 2015, uh, it took a little longer, but the price increased after that as well. 2018, the same thing happened, and we are right now uh, reaching this green zone again. Obviously, it has to do with the whole mining situation for BTC. Okay,
Yeah.
but as we were kind of commenting on this situation a couple days ago, as soon as the mining business starts to come back to full force, we can probably see these levels actually going up once again, right? So yeah, this is something that's bullish for BTC so far. Um, we're gonna keep track on it for the next couple weeks as well and see how it reacts to this
Yeah.
zone here. But yeah, um,
That Pure multiple is very interesting. I mean, it just the technology that runs this on-chain analysis stuff fascinates me.
yeah,
You know.
and it's crazy how this data actually is reliable, right? Because every time uh, it happens, um, the price went up, right? So
Yeah.
obviously it's one indication, and I always talk like we should always take information with a grain of salt. Nothing is for certain in this
Yeah.
market, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, this can certainly help us in kind of forecasting what's going to happen next.
Yeah. And if I
Um,
actually can show you my screen really quickly here,
mhm.
um, I actually have, from Glassnode, the pure multiple up on my screen. And as you can see, it does potentially look like we might be reaching a bottom here. You know, if patterns are anything to take into account, this does look like a potential inverse head and shoulder pattern here. And at the end of the day, this going up from this point is actually, a bullish thing for us, because that would
Yeah.
indicate, the miners are
Mhm.
actually putting, money out there and they're not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and this also contributes to the whole thing about accumulation, right? Um, and if I can quickly come back into the charts, I remembered something
Oh,
that
actually,
I
Mr. Crypto just asked, "Can you make a Glassnode tutorial?" I have to ask you to get on
ooh,
that.
that's a very interesting idea, man. Um, yeah, I'm gonna work on that
yeah, we
for
can
sure,
definitely
man.
do that, but we'll have to. It'll be a little limited because currently, we do have access to the tier two charts, but most people, unless you pay for it, you're gonna have access to just the tier one level charts. But
Mhm.
there's plenty of data and information on these charts.
Yeah. Yeah, we could make some content on that for sure, Mr. Crypto.
Yeah,
Thank you for the idea. We're gonna work on that for sure. Um, but looking here at our BTC chart, it's the RSI that I was talking about a few days back, because we're constantly putting in bullish divergences on this whole kind of sideways movement that we're making, right?
hmm
So if you look, the price is constantly going down here in a downtrend, and we see that the RSI is showing strength uh, slowly, right, going up. So this is also something that contributes to our kind of bullish sentiment that we are having right now. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
I yeah, I do think the market is slowly changing its sentiment to being a little more bullish. Obviously, we got to be careful, but with all the data that we are seeing, uh, we could see some interesting things in the future for BTC for sure. Um, but continuing with the on chain, there's another thing that we can take a look here, and it's the balance of BTC on exchanges, the supply, right? And this is a article on Cointelegraph, um, and it says here that the BTC exchange supply hits a 6 month low as accumulation continues. Um, and they say that the likelihood for another steep sell-off for BTC is diminishing as more holders are accumulating. Um, so, and I continue to talk here, like the amount of BTC held on exchanges has been declining steadily since mid-May, offering reassurance that the worst of the market sell-off has passed. And at current levels, BTC's exchange supply is at its lowest level since early January. Um, so yeah, this also contributes to the whole RSI thing that we are talking about,
Yeah, the strength.
because yeah, it shows accumulation, right?
And again, one of the things that we have to keep into account is that there is a lot of interest in the institutions to buy up all these dips. So when we do see this accumulation in the exchanges of Bitcoin leading up to major dumps, we're going to see all that Bitcoin get bought right up and then put right back into these cold storage.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's basically like the more we go down, the more close we are to a bottom, right? And we
Exactly.
yeah, and we see that if we are seeing signs of accumulation is because um, the bottom is potentially close. um, and I always talk about like uh, the retail is not really on it uh, for now, right? I believe once we start to break like 40K and the top of the ranges like that, then we're gonna start seeing the retail actually coming back
Hmm.
into the whole market again. But we see that the price is kind of being controlled right now by the smart money. But I wonder when the retail starts coming back um, into uh, the market, what's that gonna do to the price, right? Because uh, the retail never comes in at the bottom, never.
Yeah,
Um,
never.
yeah, people tend to buy when there's sort of the FOMO aspect starts to kick in.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something that's gonna be interesting to see in the future for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be crazy because, you have all the institutions buying everything up. And, once the price starts going up and the market sentiment starts getting to the bull side, unfortunately, a lot of people start buying when we get up there to the top because they're, getting all the information, hearing about, oh, yeah, 100,000 Bitcoin target, 500K. And I understand that, but it's a little tough. We have to be careful because we don't want to buy the tops and sell the bottoms ever.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, moving on to some news right now. I think um, Sterling, you were talking about earlier about
Oh yeah.
some news about the U.S., right?
Yeah, so Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, He's actually visited so far. He's met with the U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Paul Ryan, and he has met with um, Janet Yellen, who's the Secretary of Treasury for the U.S. And they're constantly uh, getting warnings. The U.S. government is constantly being warned by experts on this matter that the Chinese digital yuan is a threat to the U.S. dollar as a standard reserve currency, and that's why these politicians are meeting with somebody like Brian Armstrong to. I don't know if they want to talk about they do want to talk about an American CBDC. I was aware of that, but I also don't know if they want to talk about a possible American Bitcoin ETF. So we just got to wait and see. But when it comes to the CBDC, I do think that eventually America will develop a CBDC, uh, especially when you look at a lot of projects that are or a lot of governments that are looking towards CBDCs, especially in the West and North America and Europe. A lot of them are possibly looking at Algorand for the base for their CBDC foundation for the blockchain that they're going to use. They're going to be using the Algorand products,
Yeah.
and
Also, for those of you who don't know, CBDC just stands for the Central Bank for Digital Currency. So
yes,
that's what it is.
yeah, and MIT is like one of the most prestigious universities in America in the U.S. and I wouldn't be surprised if MIT's professor Silvio Micali ends up being, who founded Algorand, and I wouldn't be surprised if Algorand ended up being the base for the CBDC that the U.S. produces.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, there are some conversations happening between people at the US and crypto related stuff, right? So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see because imagine if the US actually creates a proper stable coin, right? That's
Because we
gonna
all
be
know
interesting.
Tether is not actually connected to the U.S. government, so
Yeah, yeah.
company, so
But yeah, the crypto market is gonna be uh,
revamped. It's gonna have a
exactly.
whole modification. There's big changes coming.
Yeah. But moving on to some not so good news, the UK strikes again, and right now the Barclays they're telling cardholders that it's stopping payments to Binance. So basically the bank is coming after Binance, and they say here that customers have been reporting that Barclays, a British multinational universal bank, has been blocking payments to Binance cryptocurrency exchange over the last week. The financial services giant has confirmed to cardholders that Barclays debit and credit card payments to the cryptocurrency exchange will not be allowed until further notice. Um, and then one of the crypto investment dashboard wealth codes co-founders, who goes by Lee on Twitter. He posted something on Twitter, and he said, as you've made a payment to Binance this year, we wanted to let you know that we are stopping payments." So this is basically the notification that people have been getting from Barclays. We wanted to let you know that we are stopping payments made by credit or debit card to them until further notice. And this is to help keep your money safe. So Binance had a lot to say about that on Twitter as well. So yeah, that's there's a lot going on with Binance and the UK right now as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy, crazy stuff.
Mr.
Um,
Crypto, he made something. He says, "I wish Barclays would block payments." Oh my god. Oh, that's funny. Anyways,
Yeah.
uh,
But
you
yeah,
know, yeah. Go ahead. Go
no,
ahead.
go on, go on.
Well, when it comes to Binance's founder statement, Changpeng Zhao, the founder of Binance, he says that it will be impossible for governments uh, to continue a block on Binance Exchange in the future. It will eventually just not work anymore. And then so many people, so many people are going to have a way to. Always a way to send coin to an exchange. I think what governments really have to focus on is mitigating the threat of crypto being used for illicit activity, as opposed to trying to block exchanges like they are.
Yeah. Um, I have it. I have here actually the statement that Binance official account posted on Twitter, um, and they say here that there's partners that are taking some actions to stop servicing Binance users based on what appears to be an inaccurate understanding of events. So they made a whole thread here. Um, so yeah, they're not really happy about it. So it's gonna be interesting to see if uh, how that's gonna be resolved in the end, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, the UK has been known for uh,
Well, as of
coming after
recently,
crypto, yeah,
yeah, especially
but
as of recent.
exactly. So yeah, this is something that we're gonna keep an eye on as well.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing is about the mining here, and we have a CoinDesk um, article here about China's Bitcoin mining crackdown is a boon for miners elsewhere. So they're updating the situation for the miners outside of China. Um, and it says here that they're moving elsewhere, obviously, and they talk about here at this point here. Yeah, right here. So they say that many exiled Chinese miners appear to be moving machines to nearby countries such as Kazakhstan or Russia. Others are reaching out to operators like Bitfarms in hopes of sharing facilities. And there's a third group of miners uh, in hopes that Chinese policy will eventually reverse. Um, so yeah, as I said earlier, we have to wait and see how this whole thing is gonna be resolved in the end, and how the mining situation is gonna actually uh, be resolved as well, and how the hash rate is gonna be after it all's settled down, right? Um, so yeah, this is something interesting as well, but I think we're gonna have to wait a little until the whole situation is actually resolved.
And how much of this I wonder, is a account to a lot of the, price that we've been seeing with all the crackdowns and these miners need to move. I would imagine they would be selling off a lot of their Bitcoin that they've been hodling just so that way they can, make sure that they're good for their move and everything else that's coming home.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think there has been a lot of selling for from miners
Mm.
lately, especially with the PO multiple here, because it shows where we're having a kind of big sell off from miners, right? Uh, so I wonder how they're gonna uh, behave from now on, um, and what's going on, because when it all settles down, uh, we can probably see this actually moving to the upside again. And yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see
Exactly.
the effect on the miners on the market in the future.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's definitely all these miners leaving China is gonna make room for the mining industry to get a little bit easier for miners. It's gonna be a good time to be a miner, like I was saying in the previous episodes, and as well, North America can step in, and if we could figure out a way here in the U.S. at least to produce, will create quite large Bitcoin mining farms that are sourcing renewables as their energy, then I think everything will go back to the way it was in January, where Tesla is going to be like, okay, mining is now in the U.S. We're sourcing it from renewables. Let's get back in, and then once that news hits that Tesla's back in for
Exactly.
accepting BTC payments, I
Yeah,
think we'll see
exactly.
some big changes coming.
Yeah. Um, there was some people talking about this sort of energy talks, and this subject. I think people were mentioning that once it all settles down from this move that is happening with the miners, that the mining will actually be around 56% renewable energy. So I bet Elon is gonna love that, and
Yeah.
we're gonna see if Tesla comes back accepting BTC as payment. So I bet it's gonna happen because there has been a lot of talks about this renewable energy for
Yeah,
mining. Yeah, but
yeah,
yeah, guys, that's all the news that we have. Just to wrap it up here, we're gonna come back into the chart of BTC here and see how it's doing one last time. Um,
Groovy. Real quick, can we
so,
can we touch on the EMAs? Where how is the price reacting to? Is it reacting to the 21-day EMA at the moment?
yep. So we're gonna see here. This is the daily time frame. We can put the 21 EMA here.
Yes.
And as you guys can see, we had the 21 EMA constantly going down here, um, and we reacted to it two more times here. Got rejected. Didn't spend much time above it. Um, so if we do go back up here, it's going to be interesting to see how the price is going to react to this level, because we are really close right now to this level here. We do have the 50. Oh, I have the simple moving average here. It's kind of closing in with this whole sideways movement. But if I take the EMA here and put on the 50, yeah, it's coming back and actually closing in as well. So when we have all of these sort of EMAs close together, um, it indicates kind of a sideways
Yes.
movement.
Yeah.
But once we retake all of those, um, that's going to be very bullish. We also have the 200 EMA here, which is very close together as well. So yeah, we have everything kind of closing in here to this range. So basically, the range that
One
we
of the
have.
Yeah, I was gonna say one of
Sorry.
the first things
Yeah.
we definitely want to see is, that 50 start to flatten out, and then, there's a potential for it to start going up because, EMAs and moving averages, they can be used as momentum indications depending on the trajectory that, they're facing at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. And we also have the 4 hour here, the 200 EMA on the 4 hour, which is also something to keep an eye on. And currently, the 200 EMA on the 4 hour, we had two kind of touches here as well on this zone. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if we actually try and retake it one more time, because it has been a long time ever since
Yeah.
back in May. So yeah, that's gonna be
And I,
interesting as well.
and I just add, like, a lot of people when they first start looking at EMA ribbons, they get a little confused because they're like, okay, so across the ribbon, the price is above it now. Should I long, or it's under it? Should I short? They kind of get confused when looking at EMA strategy, but it's important to add that you should be looking at your EMA, the position to which the price is reacting to a certain EMA ribbon or any uh, indicator on your chart. You should be looking to that after you've also done your analysis of the momentum oscillators. And also, it's great to add in some on-chain analysis, but also when you're looking at your momentum oscillators and you think you see a divergence coming towards the price, now is the time that you can start looking at where the price might react to fulfill that divergence. So, like
Yeah.
if I see a bearish divergence has formed on the momentum oscillator, what I'll do is I will say, okay, I have these ribbons. Like if I see a bearish divergence forming on the oscillator, say the MACD histogram, the RSI, what I'll do is I have a set of areas where the price may react to as resistance as it's going up, and then that will be the area that I look to see if the price is reacting to it as resistance and getting rejected, and then I know that bearish divergence might get fulfilled, and then you
Yeah.
add on-chain analysis on top of all that, and you become quite a skilled trader that way.
So basically,
Exactly.
and in short, is there's no one tool, one
Yes.
magic indicator that's going to do it, and we're always going to look for that confluence. I generally like to have four levels of confluence, four
Yeah.
different indications, whether it be the money flow, the strength of the asset, the EMAs. I want four things to line up before I could even decide to get into a trade.
Another thing that's so
For sure.
crazy is that like when you see that a price is trading into the apex of a triangle and you see it's about to break out, that exact zone where it usually ends up breaking out is also going to reclaim zones like a certain EMA that might be there, or the Ichimoku cloud that might be there, or the 618 of a fib retracement that we might see right there. And you see that confluence. And it's funny because usually if you're trading one strategy properly, you're without even realizing it, you're trading another trading strategy properly. Like if I'm trading EMA strategy properly and I'm adding in a pattern here and I'm seeing a pattern and I'm knowing where it's going to break out, if I then take a look at if I had focused on Ichimoku strategy, it probably would have worked out the same way relatively. And if you combine all those indicators together, you can maximize your potential for making serious gains.
Yes, yeah. Always look for confluence, guys, because the market, every move that the market makes, it's confluent with at least one or two indicators, or EMAs, or support and resistance lines, whatever. And it's important that you have a lot of things that you can use to sort of make an educated guess on what's the price going to do next, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, if we come back to the daily here, we see I'm going to make the same retracement that I made earlier, and from this point right here, this swing high to this swing low. So yeah, just to recap, guys, we have a very important range on the 36,500 that we have to retake. But even before that, we also have the 35K level that we have to retake. So these are the most important ones that we have right now. For support, obviously we have our current support, which is actually, let me make the retracement again here and change this model here. Put this one and make the lines a little more visible for you. So these are kind of the support area that we have. So for resistance that we have to retake 35 and then 36 600. Support right now we have this 38.2 fib right below us on the 33 600 level. If we by any chance start closing a lot of candles below this, then the next sort of reasonable area for us would be the 31K, 30K support once again, and see if we can hold that. Um, but for now, we have close at support, and we are looking to test the 35K once again. Um, and then after all of this, we have our big resistance here at the top of the range, 40K, which we can look for a break for the whole recovery of this range here. But yeah, guys, that's basically what we had for you today. I don't know if you guys have anything more to add. If you guys have any questions on the chat, you can ask. We're gonna be answering them. But yeah, I don't know. You guys have something?
I'm about to just hop back in the Discord and start
Yeah, other
doing some
than
more
that,
charts.
just we have a Discord community where we're always doing TA, and
Yeah,
if you have any questions about technical analysis, all the charts, we're always there, willing to help. So definitely give us a shout.
awesome, guys. So if you guys have are interested in any more content, you can access yarcrypto.com. We also have our news site, yarcryptonews.com. So you can check that out as well. Every day we post content here on YouTube, updating you on the charts and what's happening on the markets as well. Um, you can follow us on Twitter, and we are also posting a lot right there.
And
And
don't
as
forget to
legals,
hit the bell button if you are subscribed, so that way you get notifications that we are going live.
exactly. And as Legal mentioned as well, we have our Discord community where we talk all about crypto related stuff. So if you want to hang out with us, you can consider joining our Discord. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been a really nice talk show today. I'm glad you all came to watch us today. Thank you for the comments as well. And yeah, this has been Groovy for
Legal talent.
yarcrypto.com.
Nope, Sterling. Take care, guys. Keep
And
watching those
bye bye,
charts.
guys.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good one.
Bye.